Straight Talk, Eye on the Arts with Adam Sawatsky on C-FAX 1070.
Welcome back to Eye on the Arts on C-FAX 1070. I'm Adam Sawatsky from CTV News. Our guest is Jesse Thomas Brown, singer-songwriter, making his interview debut. How does it feel?
It feels good, thank you.
The reason that you're here is you're set to do a CD release party for your latest album called An Idiot's Tale, a collection of 15 songs that I have to admit, so many CDs come through my desk, and I listen to the first couple songs, I think, oh, good or bad, we'll do a story on them, or, we'll wait. And for some reason, this one, I started listening, and I just kind of got caught up with it. And I was doing work at the same time. It was the soundtrack for me doing some work. And then all of a sudden, I just realized, oh, I've gone through 5 songs, and I keep getting caught up in these stories.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate
What
that.
comes first for you then? Is it the storytelling? Is it the lyrical aspect, or is it the music?
It's always the music first, and that usually comes quite quickly, and the lyric will take time then. Once I have the music laid down, I can sort of start to wonder what it's about.
So what would then prompt you to write the music? If it's not, a story that you want to express, where does the music come from?
I just sit down and try things out, and if they work, I keep them, and if not, I move on to something else.
And what are you using, piano? Is that how it starts?
It always starts with the piano.
And where did that begin for you? Let's go all the way. How old are you now?
I'm 32.
Okay, let's go all the way back to the beginning. When did you first start playing the piano, or when did you pick up your first instrument?
I was 14. I had seen Elton John on The Muppet Show, and then had a chance to see him in concert shortly after, and I was determined to learn the piano.
And what was it? Do you remember your feelings back then?
I think I was so taken with Elton at the time that I was emulating what he was doing, and since he was such a splendid piano player, that was the direction I chose.
So it starts with the piano, and kind of how has that been, your relationship with the piano, leading up to your 30s now?
It's been great. It's been one of the best relationships of my life.
In what way? Why has it been better than perhaps some of the human relationships you've had?
I don't know. It's just such a great outlet.
Always there for you?
Yourself. Oh, absolutely.
Always listens?
Yeah.
So how does a song start? You put your hands on the piano,
That's right, yeah. It's, I don't know, you try some combinations of chords and things, and it's usually when you do something a little unexpected that you start to realize that you've got a song in the works.
And where does the unexpected come from? Would it be a mistake that you would make?
It could be a mistake, or just trying something random, something different.
Well, we'll play the first track off of An Idiot's Tale. It's called Naperville. Tell us about this.
Naperville, I was trying to impress someone who was from Naperville, but when I looked into the city, I learned that it was one of the more affluent areas, considered one of the best areas to live in the States. And that started giving me some ideas about sort of upper middle class disillusionment, which I was seeing a lot around me, and I thought this would be a good symbol for that.
You were listening to Eye on the Arts on C-FAX 1070. I'm Adam Sawatsky from CTV News. Our guest is Jesse Thomas Brown, his album An Idiot's Tale, and here is the first track, Naperville.
Politicians, corporate beans, and next year gotten awfully bold. They gave wars for the poor to fight and us to support, while they tried to undo the role of our Supreme Court. And all the money that's made gets sucked right up through the cracks in the floors that are built upon working class backs. And still you wonder why some born of the privileged few seem far too lazy to take up all the evils you do. We could be mavens and moguls of the corporate scene, getting daily overdoses of power and caffeine, or those slimy little lawyers who help to get off politicians, corporate beans, and next year's Abramoff. In a world where rules of decency are smashed like a toy, and the souls are bought and sold with every good girl and boy, we're just stoned and we're going nowhere, doing no harm in Naperville, Illinois. We could be mavens and moguls of the corporate scene, getting daily overdoses of power and caffeine, or those slimy little lawyers who help to get off politicians, corporate beans, and next year's Abramoff. In a world where rules of decency are smashed like a toy, and the souls are bought and sold of every good girl and boy, we're just stoned and we're going nowhere, doing no harm in Naperville, Illinois.
There you have it, Jesse Thomas Brown's Naperville from his album An Idiot's Tale. He is our guest on Eye on the Arts on C-FAX 1070. I'm Adam Sawatsky from CTV News. You mentioned, Jesse, that Elton John was an influence. I hear a little bit of Billy Joel in there.
Absolutely, Billy Joel as well. I've got all of his records, and hugely influential.
What is it like for a guy like you? And as I was listening to the album for the first time, and as I hear this song again, I think, I don't hear this music on the radio, though, anymore. That the kind of the days,
No.
the great days in the 70s of these wonderful singer-songwriters. We don't hear that anymore. So where do you see yourself in the pop music landscape?
I don't know. I guess I'm a bit of a throwback. I don't really think about it. It's just the music I would choose to make, and I suppose most of my influences come from that era. But I don't know. I don't know where I see myself. I think there's a place for everybody.
Oh, no, there's absolutely a place for you. It's just you don't hear this on the radio anymore.
You don't.
Who influences you now? Or are you hearkening back to the Eltons and the Billy Joels?
Well, you mentioned both of those. Leonard Cohen is a huge influence. Chris Christopherson, Bruce Springsteen, Stephen Sondheim, and Leonard Bernstein. Those are the big key influences.
It's interesting you mentioned Leonard Bernstein. I could see you writing a musical.
Thank you.
One day, and we'll talk about that when we return. We do need to take a break. This is Eye on the Arts on C-FAX 1070. I'm Adam Sawatsky from CTV News. Our guest is Jesse Thomas Brown. You have a CD release party. It's happening?
That's right. September 10th at the Fort Street Cafe.
And you can hear all his music live as well. We do need to take a break. When we return, a bizarre connection between Jesse and myself that we found out while that song was just playing. It's weird. We will find out what that is when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to Eye on the Arts on C-FAX 1070. I'm Adam Sawatsky from CTV News. The opening chords of Jesse Thomas Brown's Away from the Light, track number 5 on his latest CD, An Idiot's Tale. We'll play another one of his songs in just a moment. But first, Jesse, before the break, we realized that we have this bizarre connection. You now live in the house that I grew up in. Yeah. The house that I learned to ride a bike on the street and learned to tie my shoes. And we won't reveal your address because we don't want the fans to go flying in there. But how is the house for you?
Oh, it's beautiful. I love the neighborhood, and it's a wonderful street. It's a great place to live.
Where's your bedroom?
It's upstairs.
Same place as my bedroom, probably?
Probably, yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Right next to the bathroom?
Right next to the bathroom, yeah. That's bizarre. It's a small, small world. What has that house meant to you? Perhaps this is a self-indulgent question, but...
Well, most of the songs that I've written were written in that house. I named the first album that I put out Tanglewood because the house happens to be
near that street in the Broadmead
neighborhood. You can see the sign from my house, and Tanglewood was significant because of Leonard Bernstein, and he did his conducting training in Massachusetts at Tanglewood, and he considered that his spiritual home. So, being a bit of a Bernstein fanatic,
What is it about being a Bernstein fanatic? And in the previous segment, we talked a little bit about how your songwriting process works. We didn't talk about the arranging, because you write the song first, but then you have to include the drums, and you have to include a horn section and strings and perhaps a choir. What is then the arranging part of the songwriting process for you?
The arranging is a little bit unusual in that I record the piano first and then vocals, and then I start adding other instruments, which I do with the keyboards. And then the drummer comes in at the very end, and it's usually the opposite process. The drummer usually records first. But
because he's there to kind of lay the
right.
rhythmic foundation.
In this case, he has to follow my rhythm.
And how is that for him?
He's a real trooper, and I admire his ability to do that.
We spoke before that your songs almost have, or some of them have, a bit of a show tune quality, and we'll play one of them, Southern Skies, which I think is a good example of this. Set this up. What should we be thinking about as we're listening to this?
Well, Southern Skies, this is a sequel to another song I wrote, which is also on the album, called Up the Mississippi, and this is pure tribute to Mark Twain, who I also adore.
Why this Southern thing? And, the first song we played, Naperville, I realize you wrote it for a woman in your life, but is there an attraction to the U.S.? What is the U.S. for this guy from Vancouver Island?
Well, I don't know. I think it's not something I think about too much. It's just, it's certain landscapes that seem appropriate for telling certain stories. And I don't know if it's the cinematic quality of the landscapes or what, but I think that's the reason for it. It's not any specific infatuation with America or anything. It's just the place to set the stories, I think.
Anyway, part 2, Southern Skies, Mark Twain.
Right. Yeah, well, it's kind of ripped out of Huckleberry Finn. The first song, Up the Mississippi, is the slave escaping the South, and his family has been sold down the river many years ago. And the second song I wrote about 5 years later, because for some reason the first song, I always liked it, but I didn't feel that it sort of had a life. It just was sitting there, and I thought maybe if I give it a sequel, it'll rejuvenate it. And it kind of did, and I think the reason it did is because the second song is better than the first song. And so, yeah, they were written 5 years apart, and this is him going down the Mississippi after the Civil War to find his family.
Well, here you have it, Jesse Thomas Brown's Southern Skies.
I've been living as a free man in Chicago, Illinois. Found a good boss, pays me nearly what I earn. And I've been biding my time till the South became free. And the day I would make my return. Years ago they took my family long before my escape. I saw them loaded on a boat and leaving shore. gentle young man named Ben. I'll search every town and farm neath the great southern skies till I'm with my wife and son once again. Was just a child last time that I saw, but now a nearly grown boy of 17. I hope he looks like his mother each time I've closed my eyes. Her face is the first thing I see.
There you have it, Jesse Thomas Brown's, from his album, An Idiot's Tale, that was Southern Skies. You can see the whole Broadway production when you listen to that. The curtain opening up in the background, the choir revealing itself.
Thank you.
Not a real choir, though, on that track.
No, I played that on the keyboard.
One day, do you hope to be able to have the production budget to... If money was not an object for you, in producing one track, what would you have at? What bells and whistles would you throw at it?
Well, I suppose it would be fairly comparable to what I'm doing, except it would be kind of neat to have like a proper orchestra. I mean, I'm just playing all these things myself on the keyboards, including the choir. But it would be neat to do it with a symphony or something like that. But not many people have that budget.
I'm just realizing we've run out of time.
Oh,
what a shame.
Well,
where can we see you live?
I will be playing at the Fort Street Cafe on September 10th, and I'm not sure after that, but...
You also have a website?
I do, jessethomasbrown.com.
And there's also some tracks on there that you won't find on the album as well. Jesse Thomas Brown, appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adam.
My name is Adam Sawatsky from CTV News. You've been listening to Eye on the Arts on C-FAX 1070. We'll be back after your C-FAX news. Stay with us.